Bitcoin has moved away from 30,000 and is looking for support from buyers, which may be lower than it looks. Gary Gensler continues his crusade against cryptocurrencies, but risks losing his position as head of SEC. The IMF is issuing new money to replace Bitcoin XRP, and not only, what is actually happening? Let's start our review with Bitcoin because it sets the trend for the whole cryptocurrency market. And let's go straight to the bullish signals. We have this chart from Glassnode analysts, which indicates the transition of Bitcoin to growth. Moreover, we can deal with the growth in the parabola, as it was already 5 times in the history of the first cryptocurrency. It's worth putting your greed on pause, because despite the triggering of the indicator, most likely it is a repetition of the history of the 2019 year, when after the appearance of this signal, the price has added only 100%, rising from $7,000 to $14,000. Taking into consideration the current state of the cryptocurrency market, we can expect even smaller increase. But let's be objective. Even a modest plus of 30% with a return of the price range of $40,000 will mean a lot for Bitcoin, and it really is a chance. But at the moment, it is determined not so much by the cryptocurrency market as by the events in other financial markets. In particular, it depends on the actions of the Federal Reserve and the stability of the U.S. economy. The connection is very simple. The same money now leads the stock and cryptocurrency markets, so the decision to buy or sell is made as close as possible. Now we see some positivity in the S&P 500 stock market rose after strong reports of the leading U.S. banks, which removed one of the main threats for the financial markets. But at the same time, most of this positivity was in the price. The minutes from last week's Fed meeting conveyed confidence to investors that they will decide to raise rates again on May 3rd. That sentiment is helping the dollar recover, and as you may have remembered from my other videos, it has an inverse correlation with other financial assets. Thus, I was expecting a 29,000 walk on Monday morning to look for buying support. As you can see on the chart, the retest of this level has started, and it is extremely important to hold it, because the next support is already 25,000. Bitcoin may go lower if the strengthening of dollar will continue, and maybe the signal I mentioned at the beginning will work only after the May 3rd, when the markets will start to lay in the asset price to reach the ceiling of the Fed rate. It is more than real, because in the long term, investors expect a reversal of the regulator's monetary policy, and at least 2 rate cuts, keeping our fists crossed that the Fed did everything what we expect and stopped raising the rate. SEC in its madness came to the point where even the cryptocurrency dash they have now a security. Such conclusions can be drawn from the regulator's notice against the cryptocurrency exchange Bitrex, where they referred most of the cryptocurrencies to securities and called trading in them a violation of the law. Not to say that something supernatural happened, because we expected Gary Gensler's crusade against cryptocurrencies, and first of all against exchanges, and next in line was Bitrex, which received notice about law violation, and now they must come to agreement with regulator or they will be sued. As media report, Exchange started to close its activity in USA even before this news, and it may be very possible that other platforms will do the same soon. I will say for myself that I continue to wait until they will have the courage, or will find a good excuse to send a similar notice of violation of the law for the leading exchange Binance. Whether it will have time to do something like this? Who knows, because not everyone is thrilled with his work. Congressman Davidson is preparing a bill to fire Henry as head of SEC. The reasoning is as follows. The regulator abuses its power, and instead of protecting investors, it does harm with its actions. In general, everything makes sense, and many in the cryptocurrency community would agree with this point of view, but it is members of Congress who will vote, not them. There is already a political lobby in the upper echelon of American politics who are in favor of legalizing Bitcoin and expanding the freedoms to use cryptocurrencies. But there are only a few so far. I will keep an eye on this topic, whether Gary will be able to hold office, and promptly inform you in our channel on Telegram. This is still unsubscribed to the channel. The link will be below the video. Universal Monetary Unit getting used to the new acronym, which in the future may be a new form of money from the International Monetary Fund. It works using cryptocurrency technology, and that is why it has already been called an international digital currency. The new money was presented just recently at the last IMF conference, and so far this issue is of most interest to supporters of cryptocurrencies, while the rest of the financial world is not very popular yet. Let's look into it. The presentation of Universal Monetary Union says that they use cryptocurrency technologies to create a new fast SWIFT with instant transfers, and that the new money will be a universal commodity and means to preserve value. There are two big rocks in the cryptocurrency community here. The first is in the direction of XRP. Many fans of this coin still believe that it is impossible to revolutionize the international financial system without XRP. The second is in the direction of Bitcoin, because even Gary Gensler calls it a commodity. We are used to seeing it as an asset for the preservation of value. My personal opinion is that I have explained many times that XRP technology has its niche and will evolve. But the fact that it is impossible to build a new SWIFT without it is a myth, which was invented by fans of this coin, and Ripple supported it because it is trivial for them to see. I said a long time ago that the same IMF can take the idea of XRP as a basis, but will build everything on its own payment network with its own token. In fact, we can see it now on the example of Universal Monetary. As for the threat to Bitcoin, in my understanding, there is no threat because we are not talking about a free currency, which does not depend on states, recognizes no borders, and is not controlled by central banks. Bitcoin has all of these qualities, and it will remain a currency for people who are willing to take responsibility for managing their own money. It is by no means a replacement for Bitcoin, if only because ordinary people will never own that asset. What this concept most resembles is a rethinking of the IMF special drawing rights. This, too, is an international monetary asset, which is only available to central banks and has existed since 1929 in a cashless form only. Bottom line, the phrase that the IMF is issuing new money and this cryptocurrency sounds really scary. It has nothing to do with us yet. Liking and subscribing is your best support for the channel. Thanks for watching. Your cryptocurrency.